Welcome to One Sharp Sword, cutting through to what matters most. I'm your host, Dr. P, Dr. Wayne Pernell, the exponential success coach. Do you remember, might not have been in your lifetime, a while back, there was a time when you could pull into a gas station and uniformed people would come, like a gas station attendant would come running out and greet you, and you'd roll down your window. Look at this, roll down. Those were the days before the power button. You'd roll down your window, bzzzt, power button down, roll it down for real, with a rolling motion. The attendant would greet you. You would tell the attendant, usually a him, you would tell him what kind of gas you wanted and how much you wanted, $5 on regular or fill it up with super. And then the attendant would ask you a question. Should I check under the hood? And you're like, sure, and they spray down, they do your windshield, and then they even wipe off the bugs off your wipers. And then they check under the hood. You pop the hood, they will check the oil, they check your back then you could actually check battery fluid, and they check your, if they're really good, they'd check radiator, which was not always great because hot water goes everywhere. So that was scary. But then they'd check your brake fluid, your transmission fluid as well. If you wanted them to, that was sort of extra. But you didn't pay extra for it. They would just ask you if you wanted that. So this was a big deal. And then and you drive off knowing that your car was in good shape. Oh, you're getting close to needing an oil change, or look how dirty it is, or hey, you're running down a quart, maybe you want to top it up. And so they would offer this to you, and that was their way of doing an upsell. But also it was full service, and you'd pay for full service. And not long after that came the self-service island. So you'd pay a few cents extra if you wanted full service versus partial service, self-service, right? You pull up, you hop out, you pump your gas, and you jump back in, and you're on the road. And you wouldn't check under the hood. Why would you? Because it's time to go. And that is the point of this today, checking under the hood. Look where we are in the year. Look what you've accomplished this year, and how you've accomplished it is probably by being on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go. And so this is a chance for you to go, all right, and now what, right? You have self-service or a charging station for your EV, or wow, you're lucky you don't have a car. Yay you. So the point is here for you to take a breath and to actually just kind of do a mental inventory, check in with your body, check in with yourself, because you're not just fine. It's all just good. It's going to be fine. It is going to be fine. And where are you in the world? You got to check in with yourself, because it's really important to know that as you come into, in the United States, we're coming into this holiday season. It's colder, it's darker. It's you've got to take care of yourself. And so this isn't oh yeah, just remember to take care of yourself. It's not your mom telling you that. It's not even your dad telling you that. It's just, look, we've come through some of the strangest time in our history, right? This is 2020 was a really weird year. 2021, a weird year. 2022 was a pretty weird year. We've come through some really strange times in our history. And if you think about it, you've been super resilient. And the only way you've been that resilient is to get up and keep going, and get up and keep going. And so this is a chance for you to go, you know what? Now that we're coming into our own new normal, really, We talked about what's the new normal going to be. Well, you're kind of pacing yourself into that. Here we are. And who gets to decide what that normal is? You do. You get to decide what that normal is, right? I think it's really important to think about what you've done over this past year. Because if you think about like 4 years ago, if someone had said, hey, really weird times are coming, watch out, you're going to really love what's up. You would have said, what do you mean? And it's like, well, the world's going to shut down. There's going to be a toilet paper shortage. You're not going to have eggs, and people are going to fight about everything. It's like, what? Like, that, by the way, is the state of the world right now, right? I mean, it's like, if you think about how absurd it is, what's happening, and the fact that you're listening to this podcast or watching right now, this is really important because you get a chance to make a difference and to not be that, right? We're not going to step into the world and create a fight. We're going to step into the world and shine our light.
You know you are bigger than the life you are leading. It really is time to attend to that thing you've wanted to do or have, but you've been putting off. It's time to step into that dream you've parked for someday. It's time to claim true well-being, both personally and professionally, without giving up the success that got you here. It's time to check out Dr. Pernell's signature small group retreat, the Exponential Success Summit. Explore exponentialsuccesssummit.com. Seats are extremely limited as this is a very special small group event. www.exponentialsuccesssummit.com.
Checking under the hood is really a great metaphor for taking a look at what's going on with you. Do you read the news, or do you get involved in social media and see and get all messed up, because you're ready to be angry about what somebody said? It's like your input at that point, it's not going to make a bit of difference. And so back away, take a breath, check yourself, like really check yourself. Where are you spending your energy? Because it's spending it. You have a certain amount of energy. And really, if someone asked you the night before, hey, how do you want to spend your energy? I am pretty certain that, hey, I want to fight with people on social media is not on your list. So be really protective of your energy, because right now is a really important time. We're in as I said, the darker part of the year. It's colder, at least for those of us not in Australia or New Zealand, right? So it's darker, it's colder, it's a time when, with the time changes and the different foods that we're eating and less activity for most people, it's time really to check your own operating system. Like, check under the hood. How are you doing? So, I've done a few things for myself. I look back at this year and it's been incredible. This past year, I've been involved in a couple of documentaries. I am on a trajectory as an international speaker. My elite coaching, it's 1-to-1, and it is like amazing. People are coming to me, and I love it. I love it. I created it, and I love it. A year ago, I had an idea that, maybe I'd want to be bi-coastal. I want to live in California, and, I'm visiting New York quite a bit for business. Maybe I'll just call myself bi-coastal. Like, I'm out there enough. I live on both coasts. And little did I know that I'd actually buy a place in New York not a year ago. That wasn't even on my thinking, just the term bi-coastal. And in this past year, that's part of what's happened. I am now that. So, I think fondly about, joyfully, actually, not just fondly, I think joyfully about what's coming. And so I invite you to do the same. What did you accomplish this past year in spite of all the crap that was going on in the world? What did you accomplish this year that made you smile? What did you accomplish this year that made other people smile? And what can you do this year coming up that's going to make a difference, not only for you, but for the people in your life? And even the people beyond those people. Like, what is the ripple effect of what you're about to do in the coming year? And so this podcast today is for you to reflect. What have you done in this past year? And isn't it amazing that you actually got what you were thinking about? This is a huge concept. So I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that again. Isn't it amazing that you actually got what you were thinking about? Now, a lot of people are going to go, well, I was thinking about how I want to win $1 million because I really don't have that much money and I really need the money. And so it's like, you weren't thinking about winning $1 million or starting $1 million business or whatever. You were thinking about how much money you don't have. And so you got what you were thinking about. And a lot of people miss that. And so it's like, well, can you think about the business that you're building? Can you think about the people in your circle that you're letting in, some that you're tolerating, and some that you've let go of that you need to bring back, or some that are in that you need to let go of? Think about your personal relationships. How are you doing in your relationships? How are you doing financially? And I don't want you to think in terms of what you don't have, right? So that's a double negative, which means I do want you to think about in terms of your life, in terms of where you're heading, what you actually do want. I want this. I want to become this. Well, what action step is attached to that, right? Relationships, financially, your career, your spiritual connection, your ability to give in philanthropy, your hobbies, like things that are outside of other things that you would do. Where are you building yourself, and where are you giving and building and lifting the people around you? And where are you taking time for yourself as well? And that's part of, when you check under the hood, it's sort of like these days, nobody checks under the hood. You get a notice from from your service company, whether that's the dealer or the last place you took your car for service. You get a notice that says, hey, it's probably time to take your car for service. Well, this is your notice that says, hey, it's probably time to take you for service, like time to take you into a place of rest and recuperation. And that has to be on your calendar. A month or two ago was my birthday. Yeah, 7, 8 weeks ago was my birthday, and off I went to Disneyland for 4 days. And it's like, why Disney? It doesn't matter why. What matters is I took 4 days off, which was crazy at the time because it was really inconvenient. And then I've just come back from a cruise, which is crazy to think about, that it's like, how did I arrange to take this much time off to be able to do this? I put it on my calendar. Now, the thing about the cruise, I put that on my calendar 2.5 years ago. And then a thing called a pandemic came by and pushed it and pushed it and pushed it. And so, look, I'm saying that it won't happen unless you schedule it. It's like, it's one thing to get a notice from the car dealership that says it's time for a service. And it's another thing to say, oh, let's put it on a calendar and let's take the car in. And so you've got to look at your life, especially with all of the frenetic activity that's about to happen from here out for the next 6 or 8 weeks, it's like, how much pull on you is there going to be? Well, put a day or at least half a day on the calendar for yourself. And moving forward, put 3 days on the calendar, 3 to 4 days on the calendar for you every quarter. So every 3 months, every 90 days, put a 3-day block on the calendar that is scheduled for you. No tech, no anything, nothing that's going to get in that way. So you need to be planning and plotting and giving yourself that gift of rejuvenation, right? Your creativity, your ability to serve others more greatly, your ability to provide value to other people, whether that's your family or people at work or people in the community or people you've never met yet. Your ability to do that requires you to be refueling yourself, getting your own oil changed, right? So just find that every 3 months, find it, right? Your creative focus, your productivity, it's going to skyrocket every time because these are stressful times. And you've got to remember that where you're headed is a special place. Where you're headed in your life is super special. You are not who you were. And who you are now isn't who you're becoming. And the only way to become that special person with that amazing life is to fuel yourself correctly now. So plan it. Check under the hood. How are your vitality levels? How are you feeling? Right? It's time. It's time for you to do that for you. It's time for you to do that for the people around you. And I'm gonna suggest one more thing, which is if you have not yet checked this out, it is so worth it for you to take a look. Just go to exponentialsuccesssummit.com. exponentialsuccesssummit.com. You're going to spend 2 days with me and supercharge your life. That's what you'll find there. exponentialsuccesssummit.com. Do it while you're online. Just check it out. And if it interests you and you've got questions, reach out to me. But think about this. It's time to check under the hood. It's time to really invest in yourself and give yourself a day, 3 days, however many days you can or want to take. Give yourself that gift, put it on your calendar and make it happen. And if you are interested, by the way, back to that in the Exponential Success Summit, my signature small group intensive, then please check that out. Put that on your list. 2 days of working on you, that's an investment that's going to pay off big time. So think about all that. This is about you. This is your time. And it's about to get frantic and hectic, usually does towards the end of the year. Let it be yours. Breathe in, breathe out, and claim your space in the world. This is your time. I got you. All right. Stay curious. Keep making your magic. I will see you here next time. Thanks for joining me. I'm Dr. P. This is One Sharp Sword Cutting Through to What Matters Most. I'm Dr. Wayne Pernell, your host, the Exponential Success Coach. We'll see you here next time.